Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, Community Focus on Washington County. And we are happy to have with us today Melissa Shank, who is the Washington County, I always say 4-H. Now, that's not the name now.
Well, it's still 4-H. It's
Okay.
4-H Youth Development Agent here in Washington County.
Okay, 4-H Youth Development Agent, yeah. Yeah, so, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Springfield and Washington County.
I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Yeah, you're not from here.
I'm not from too far away, actually.
Okay.
I'm from Nelson County originally, Boston area, and went to Murray State University. And after I graduated from Murray State, I decided I had wanted to work in extension, but I wasn't quite ready to return all the way home yet. So I went to work for 2.5 years in Obion County, Tennessee, which is a small rural county in the middle of nowhere. But this opportunity came available, and I felt like it was the perfect opportunity.
Yeah. So, well, good. You're just right down the road from us, a Nelson County girl. And then, so, of course, you have big shoes to fill, because Roberta Hunt was the 4-H agent here, as we always called it, for, I don't know.
I can't tell you exactly, but I think it's over 30 years.
Oh, I know, way over 30 years, I think. And so, you know, everybody knows Roberta. And so now everyone, because you're here on Channel 6, is going to get to know you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so are you living here in Washington County?
I'm still living over in Nelson County, kind of trying to figure out which area of the county I want to plant my roots in. And so taking those steps a little bit slowly. So I'm really thankful that Roberta is still around, that every now and then a question comes up and I do not know the answer to it. So it's good to be able to reach out to somebody with quite a few years of experience.
Yes, exactly. Now, was your degree in consumer?
My degree is in agri-science, so from Murray State, and then I'm currently working on another agriculture degree, my master's degree from the University of Tennessee.
Oh, okay. In agri-science?
Yes, ma'am.
So that relates to what you're doing here with a lot of the 4-H projects, I'm sure.
Right. As a 4-H agent, there's no specific career or degree requirements because 4-H reaches so many different areas. So if you're going to be an ag agent, you have to have a degree in agriculture. If you're going to be a family consumer science agent, you have to have a degree in family and consumer sciences or a degree that relates to that field. But in 4-H, since we cover areas from health and nutrition to STEM studies and agriculture, anything from plants, studying plants to showing livestock, since 4-H is so wide open, the degree opportunities are wide open as well.
Yeah. But with your background, because we have a lot of programs here in 4-H that, you know, relate to agriculture.
Absolutely. So here in Washington County, we have the traditional 4-H programs such as sewing, we have shooting sports, we have our Young Riders Horse Club and the Rabbit Club and the Livestock Club, as well as the Country Ham Club. So that ag degree does relate to most of those. But then in addition to that, 4-H expands so far outwards now. It's not just agriculture, it's not your granddaddy's 4-H anymore. So my goal as the 4-H agent going forward is to keep those traditional programs here in Washington County. That's what I hold true. That's what really got me involved. I was not very good at sports. I played basketball for 4 years and made one goal, and at that point I decided it's time to end on a high note. But so those other opportunities are what carried me through. So with 4-H, I hope to be able to offer those traditional programs that 4-HR always has, as well as look towards the future. You know, right now 4-H is focusing a lot on drones and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So
really,
there's a lot of that now.
well,
I don't know how to fly a drone, but I hope maybe I can find some 4-Hers in the county that can teach me.
So, are there drone classes? Are there people, buying drones and you have a drone club? Explain that to me.
So there's always that potential. Right now we have those clubs that I listed off.
Yeah.
We also have like a teen adventure club. So as people show interest within the county, we'll have day camps, or just after school enrichment activity where they can come to the extension office and learn a little bit more. From there, if we have some good interest, and most importantly, if we can find a volunteer that can lend some knowledge and their passion for that topic, if we can find the youth that are interested in it and a volunteer that is passionate about it and passionate about leading our youth, absolutely, we can get a club going from pretty much anything, from flying drones to a babysitting club. There's a lot of opportunities available.
So you said something about science. So is 4-H trying to, focus, as you said, focus on some things that subjects that they haven't before? And is this like an kind of educational experience for youth that will prepare them more for future endeavors, such as more in the science and mathematics field?
Sort of, kind of. Youth that are involved in 4-H are 4 times more likely to be involved within their communities. At the end of the day, it is not my goal to, teach youth to be the world's best horse rider. I'm not super concerned with making sure that we have the top rabbit showing individual or a kid that goes on to sew on the runway. Really what I'm concerned about, what 4-H is concerned about, is finding that thing that youth are passionate about, helping them kind of find an outlet for that creativity, that drive, and making them into involved, productive citizens.
I see.
So
okay.
we want to teach those leadership skills, we want to teach those citizenship skills, and we found that hands-on programming that allows kids to find their interests is really the best way to kind of encourage those traits, those important citizenship traits.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics these days, and a lot of that is because that teaches problem-solving skills. One thing you have to agree with is that problem-solving skills are important as an adult.
That's exactly right. Yes, indeed.
Our goal is to make productive adults.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So have you, of course, I was in 4-H, my children were in 4-H, but we did, more of the traditional things, We learned to cook and sew and always, of course, enjoyed going to 4-H camp, learning to canoe and whatever, fish, we did. Those are things that, a lot of kids don't necessarily, I lived in town all my life, so those are things that kids, don't necessarily get to experience, just going fishing or paddling a canoe or even swimming, So those were things, of course, that I always enjoyed, and then, bowling. And I don't think you have a bowling team. Do you still have a bowling team? I think Roberta told me you don't have bowling anymore.
The funny thing is, I've worked in 4-H here in Kentucky. I grew up in Kentucky. I interned in Hardin County with their 4-H program. I've worked in Tennessee, and I'm friends with a lot of agents across the country. And Washington County is the first 4-H bowling team I've ever heard of. So that's not something that still happens, but I've heard that there was quite the success all those years ago.
Oh, it was. It was really a lot of fun. And I would take my children to Campbellsville to bowl over there in the leagues on Saturdays, yes. And when I was in 4-H as a kid, we had a 4-H bowling team in
Really?
Nelson County. Yes,
You're also a
indeed.
Nelson County resident.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes. So, so we did, you know, and I can see that, you know, with youth, that interests have changed, and so I understand a need to you know, try other sports, and I'm, you know, the rifle club, that was a good one that was started, and then now don't you have the bow and arrow
Yes, we do have an
archery class?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have our shooting sports club just wrapped up their 2018-2019 season earlier this month. And so there's shotgun, there's pistol, there is archery. There's a lot of different avenues to go with 4-H. And actually right now with shooting sports, we're in search of an archery club leader. So all of these different clubs that we have to have people who have the talent and the talent and the drive and the availability to coach these kids. So anybody out there wants to be the archery coach, give the extension office a call, and we would happily connect you with that information. You know, without, I can't shoot a bow and arrow, so I don't know that I should be teaching kids to shoot a bow and arrow. So yes, we are constantly looking for volunteers for these different clubs.
And so if someone has, say, an interest, like you said, a passion and knowledge in a certain area, then something that maybe you all aren't doing, that they can, you know, just contact the 4-H office to say, you know, hey, this is a skill I have and I'd like to teach others. And then you can check to see if there are any youth that are interested, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Youth, it's funny because a lot of times adults will be really excited, really geeked out about something, and they're like, kids these days, they don't want to learn about this. Kids these days, they do. They do want to learn about all these different topics. They just need the opportunity to get excited about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, one example of that is I like to decorate sugar cookies. You know, those cute little sugar cookies with the royal icing. I love doing that. But there isn't a 4-H sugar cookie decorating contest. There's a cake decorating contest, but we don't have a sugar cookie decorating contest. But, you know, I wanted to find a way that I could pass that excitement on to our youth here in Washington County. And so I thought about it, I talked it over with some different people, and this December we're having what we're calling Baking Buddies. And the idea behind Baking Buddies is giving the youth within our community the opportunity to come into the kitchen. We have a beautiful kitchen at the extension office, and bake cookies. But it's not just about baking cookies, because each of those youth will have to bring an adult, not necessarily mom or dad or grandma, just an adult that is invested in that child's success. So if a child doesn't have a mom or a dad that is available to come to Baking Buddies, they can bring somebody else. And the idea behind that is a positive youth-adult partnership, giving those kids the opportunity to come in, learn a skill, but also to have a mentor in the kitchen and in life. So I don't know about you, but my favorite traditions in the wintertime around Christmas was baking cookies with my mom. And so we're hoping to foster that tradition or that experience, that memory with kids who might not already have it, or if anything, start that tradition that families can take home and invest in their youth.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's opportunities available anywhere. Just give us a call.
Well, yeah, that's because even if you don't have a particular skill, you could maybe there's a child that doesn't have someone to bring in with them to do the baking the cookies.
Exactly.
You know, this person could come and be a part of that, right?
Exactly.
If they don't have, like me, they don't have a particular skill.
Exactly.
But I can come in maybe and help bake cookies with a child, you know.
Always just giving youth that person to look up to. If we want to keep kids out of trouble, we need to give them an avenue to support them in staying out of trouble, some other options, and a listening ear as well.
Yeah, yeah. So you all are going to be doing that program after school, so they have to find a way to get to your office. And what like, is that a one-time thing or once a week? How does that work?
So this series, we're not doing this as a total club right now, meaning it's not going to meet monthly or anything like that. Instead, it's going to be a 3-day day camp kind of thing that's after school. One day we'll be decorating sugar cookies. That'll be for 4-H age youth. And another day will be baking gingerbread. I never grew up making gingerbread. It was kind of a mess apparently, so I kind of wish I had that tradition growing up, so I'm going to start it here in Washington County. And then the other day is for starting with our younger kids, about 5 years old, doing a more simple recipe. And so that's just allowing
5-year-olds.
Yes,
because
5 years.
they're not 4-H age.
Those are Clover Bud, but we want it. Those are Clover Bud technically, but we want it to be able to go ahead, and those younger youth that might be a little too young to be able to do our other activities, we want it to go ahead and give them the opportunity to get involved in the extension office.
Okay.
Here in Washington County, we have a gorgeous extension office
Right.
that is really ripe with opportunities. We have a lot of resources available to us. So we really want to get the community involved. There's a lot of things always going on at the extension office. Most nights we have something there.
Yeah.
So we want to provide opportunities for families to get the experience of coming to the extension office as young as they're interested in. We have things at the extension office for families with little kids all the way up to our senior citizens.
Wow. So now tell me some of the other things that you're doing as well. I know you have a list here, so
Yes.
and I do love that country ham, curing country ham project you all do. That's a good one.
Yes, so I made some notes because a lot of times people ask me what's going on with 4-H, and I'll think to myself, man, do we have anything going on? And then I'll look at my calendar and I just realize that it goes over my head. There's so much going on that
Well, it's hard
I go
to
blank.
keep up, really.
Exactly. So I guess the two biggest things that we haven't talked about so far is the Country Ham Project and our Feeding America Backpack Program. So the Country Ham Project is actually the first 4-H club I got involved in as a youth in Nelson County.
Okay.
And so the Country Ham Club this year, we're trying something a little bit new. We had 8 youth who were involved in curing their country hams. And each of them went on to compete at the Kentucky State Fair. And we had 2 youth that actually received second place, I believe, in their age divisions for their ham. So there's 2 components, the speech component and the ham curing component, and they got second place in their age division for their ham, which was something.
So that was the state award. That wasn't just the county or the region. That was on the state level.
Exactly.
Cool.
So our volunteers were pretty excited, and our parents were pretty excited. So we wanted to find a way to continue to market the Country Ham Club, and then also to invest in it for the future. So some of our community members have gotten together and have requested this year we do our first annual country ham auction at the Farm to City breakfast during the.
That's during the Sorghum Festival.
Yes, ma'am. So that Friday of the Sorghum Festival, we'll eat between 6:30 and 7:30. Tickets are $10 a piece, so you call the extension office in order to get a ticket. But you'll come out and have a wonderful breakfast, and then following breakfast, we'll have the guest speakers in the program, as well as auction off all those hams. So 50% of the money will go directly back to those youth for them to be able to invest in their project for the next year. And then 50% of that money will go back to the Country Ham Club in order for us to continue to improve the Country Ham Curing Facility, and then also to be able to take youth on some different field trips, some educational experiences for them to learn more about their craft and their club.
I see. Okay. Now, is the curing, that's done at the Extension office?
Yes, ma'am. Washington.
I was thinking, yeah.
Yes, so Washington County is pretty fortunate in that a few years ago we got a Country Ham barn. So we have our own barn that sits out, it's bright and red, you can't miss it, but it sits out behind the Extension office. Our youth will typically cure on Martin Luther King Day. They're out of school, and that's typically about when the weather is right for them to cure their ham, and then also go ahead and put them in the socks and hang them. And then also, because we have space in our Country Ham barn, last year we were able to open up that curing opportunity to adult members of our community.
Oh.
So hopefully we can offer that again this year. We're not positive on it yet, but I think that's a cool trade that you can learn, and it's kind of fun to be able to say that I cured this Country Ham from start to finish.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that's great. And then of course, your backpack program is very special. Yeah.
So our backpack program is kind of unique. A few years ago, some 4-Hers went to a conference. They were teenagers that went to a conference called the Issues Conference. We're currently accepting youth that want to enroll in that conference for this year, but to show how important that conference is, that's how the backpack program in Washington County was started. So some kids went to this conference and they saw that there was a need, that there are kids that are from Washington County that over the weekend they went home hungry and they had no food available to them. And so they thought to themselves, what could they do? They did some fundraising and they started a backpack program. Over the years, it's evolved a little bit, and we now do this in partnership with the Feeding America Backpack Program. And that allows us to get bags of food with, I believe, 8 to 12 food items in each bag, and those are put in the backpacks of identified kids every Friday. And that way, these youth have something to eat over the weekend if their family has nothing available.
Yeah.
What makes this year so special is that last year we had 74 youth enrolled in the Feeding America Backpack Program. This year,
74 recipients?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So they're identified by the Family Resource Officer, the FRISC coordinators within the school system, and they refer those youth to us in order for us to get them their backpacks. But last year they identified 74. This year we have 104. So
gosh, that's quite an increase.
That's a big increase. And so if at all possible, we want to make sure that we don't have to deny any youth a bag of food throughout the school year. Mm-hmm. And so each backpack to sponsor a youth for an entire year is $120. We have buying power through Feeding America to be able to get that food at a much more at a much smaller price.
Yeah.
And so while it only costs $3, we can put 12 food items in that backpack, be able to send kids home with a can of ravioli, or maybe some Vienna sausages, macaroni, I've said macaroni, but vegetables for them to eat. Mm-hmm. And so we're now searching for a way to continue to fund that. Mm-hmm. So we went from it costing about $9,000 last year to it costing quite a bit more, something like that. I'm not very good at math.
Definitely, you had to. I mean, that's a 30% increase.
Absolutely.
And
so we are currently, we'll be sending out letters in about the next month to some people that have been involved with the Feeding America program before. But if there's any people that are interested in giving back to youth here in Washington County, please contact the Extension office. It's $120, like I said, to support one youth for a year, and that provides them with food over the weekend for 40 weeks. You know, kids that are facing hunger, if they don't have food at home, they're more likely to have to repeat a grade. they're more likely to have developmental problems, and they're more likely to have trouble in school with social and some learning disorders. So we want to make sure that we give youth a fighting chance. And if that means raising money to put food in their backpacks, I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, yes, indeed. And so they just make their check out to the Washington County Extension Office, probably tax deductible too.
Absolutely.
That's always good.
So you can make a check out to the Washington County Extension Office, and we'll put it into that account. We are a 501c3, or the Washington County 4-H is a 501c3 organization, so yes, you can write a check through there. If you would prefer to donate online, you can go online to Feeding America, and they have an online button where you can use your credit card and everything. Just make sure that you denote in there that you want this money to go to Washington County, Kentucky.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. I mean, here in
Okay.
Washington County, 16.4% of our youth live in food insecure households.
Yeah.
So while it seems like a high number for 104 youth to be enrolled in that backpack program, I still think there's probably some more youth that could benefit from it.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so, definitely. Yes, and like you say, you know, that's going to improve their learning ability, and of course we don't want to see any child go hungry.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's a very good program. Who puts all that food together in those? Do the 4-Hers do that?
No, ma'am. So, like I said, we partnership now with Feeding America. It's based out of Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Well, this region's Feeding America program is, excuse me.
Yeah.
So we send them an order form about once a month, and they will send a semi-truck over that has those shelf-stable food items in it. And it'll have our backpacks for the entire month to be, our bags of food to put in the backpacks on there, so that we can store them, and as we need to pass them out to youth on those Fridays, they're available for us.
Okay, so they've already put them together for you then.
Yes, so we will be getting some clubs together. You can volunteer to go to the Feeding America warehouse.
Yeah.
And we're getting some youth together to be able to go over there and see where it all starts, to see all that other labor that goes into getting that food together. That'll happen throughout this year. Right now, we're looking for other opportunities within the county to get involved. Our horse club did the Feeding America food distribution for September. I think it's September now. Yes.
At the park, at Adeline Park. Okay.
So St. Dominic's, one of the construction companies, I believe it's Rame Construction Company, I'm not sure if I got the pronunciation of that right, and the 4-H Young Riders Horse Club all came out and helped pack the food and put it into the cars of some in-need families. So it was a hot day, and they definitely got their workout in.
And that one was at St. Dominic, or the one at the park, the Adeline Park.
St. Dominic's also helped.
Oh, okay, okay. Because they have a food program too at St. Dominic
Yes, ma'am.
Rectory. Yeah. So, well, gosh, it sounds like you haven't. I don't know how long you've been here now.
About 6 months.
Yeah. So you just were thrown right to the wolves, it sounds like.
Well, like you said, I had some pretty big shoes to fill, so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple things that I've missed. But fortunately, there's a pretty great community with some outstanding volunteers that's definitely kept me on the right path.
Wow,
So,
that's great.
we're
That's
very
great
fortunate.
news. So, Melissa, now, if anyone wants to volunteer or wants to, for any of those programs, or to start a new program, or and also to just be of help in any way that you all need them, or to donate money for the backpack program, there's lots of opportunities here to volunteer or to contribute to the Washington County Extension Office. So they would just call the office, or if they want to speak specifically to you about some things, so that would be Melissa Shank, the 4-H Youth, what did you call it now?
4-H Youth Development Agent.
I started to say I was right. 4-H Youth Development Agent, and that number is
Oh, don't ask me that. I have a cell phone number I have a cell phone that calls it automatically. I just say call the office.
Well, you can look it up in the phone book or Google it on your phone. It's just the Washington County Extension Office.
You can call the Washington County Extension Office. I don't want to try to ramble off the number.
Yes.
Or you can also shoot us a message on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So just search Washington Extension on Facebook, and we're always getting messages on there.
Okay.
Volunteer opportunities go from leading clubs that meet weekly to clubs that meet monthly to even just the one-time volunteers where you're leading a day camp or you're actually taking kids to camp. We're always looking for adults to go to camp and even teenagers to lead our camp groups. So there's opportunities available everywhere.
Okay, great. Well, Melissa, it's a pleasure meeting you, and it sounds like you're busy as a bee, and just happy to have you here with us today on Channel 6, and we look forward to seeing you in the future.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.